Welcome to the Burnout to Lit Up podcast. I am your host, Erica Del Pozo, occupational therapist, certified health coach, CEO and founder of Joy Energy Time, Miami Girl, and Pineapple Lover. In this podcast, we provide the resources on how to deal with stress, burnout, and anxiety, how to get energized, find true satisfaction and alignment in your life, and more. You will learn how to slay your burnout beast and go from burnt out to a lit up life. Let's do this. So today I have a very special guest on the show, Monica Auslander Moreno. I forgot the Heather. Monica Heather.
Yeah, nobody cares about the middle name anymore.
I've been spending my morning with her, and we've been recording some really exciting stuff for the Bash the Burnout course, the soon-to-be continuing education course. So hang on tight for that if you are a healthcare professional. But I got to know Monica online. It's a small world. We have mutual friends in common, and I had no idea when I reached out to her. And I was like, oh, Monica's so nice. You know, she's amazing. And then it makes it even better that we have mutual friends in common. She is a registered dietitian. She is founder and CEO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of Essence Nutrition. She wears many hats. She is a boss. She slays. She slays. And Monica is here, and we're going to talk about some common myths and some trends in nutrition, and we're going to learn more about her, and I'm really excited. So welcome, Monica.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Erica. This is wonderful.
Yay. So why don't you tell our audience where you're from, who you are, and how did you get to where you are today?
Okay, so I'm from Miami. I went to the University of Florida for my undergrad, and I got my master's in dietetics and nutrition at Florida International University. A lot of people don't know that in grad school, to become a dietitian, you have to do a year-long internship, kind of like a residency program. So I did that through FIU, and then I started working at Jackson Memorial Hospital as an inpatient dietitian, mostly in the pediatric ICU, but other wards as well. In 2015, I started Essence Nutrition, my private practice, and today, in 2018, I have 3, hopefully soon 4, dietitians who are managing my private client base, and I'm doing more things like this: consulting, branding, media, partnerships. I provide nutrition and dietary services to the Miami Marlins, to Ocean Reef Resort and Club. I am the brand ambassador dietitian for Monte Fresh and a few other local brands. It's taken a while to get to this point and figure out my own kind of career goals and what within the realm of nutrition I enjoy doing. But it's been a wild ride, and I'm having fun.
Yeah, the entrepreneurial life has led you to many interesting opportunities.
Yeah, we do. A lot of people think, I'm just going to go see a dietitian and she'll help me lose weight. And I think it's so much more than that. So we've trained our dietitians on this philosophy to evaluate the whole person and work within your essence, who you are, your soul, to get you to the best, not the perfect or prescripted ideal way of what a nutrition lifestyle looks like. And being modern, contemporary, and younger dietitians, we emphasize our digital services very heavily because it's hard for a lot of working professionals to commit to the traditional sessions. So what we've kind of started is a few things like ebooks, which you can download online, or for the very ambitious kitchen millennial, we have this cocoon butterfly, that's our whole logo thing, meal prep service where every single week it'll tell you what to cook this week, how to cook it, what to shop for, what to have in your pantry, and anything to really inspire nutrition, what we call progress, not nutrition perfection, because that doesn't exist.
I love that. I love the progress, not perfection. So I don't know if you know this about me, Monica, but when I was a dancer, and I'm sure you've experienced many dancers that had this, I had an eating disorder, and it was about counting calories, being perfect, and it wasn't even about nutritional value, it was just about numbers. So Can we talk about how, even if you don't have an eating disorder, how counting calories, what is that about? Is it beneficial? How does that work?
So thank you for sharing that with me, because that was very powerful. I was a dancer as well, and eating disorders are something that are very, sensitive both personally and professionally to dietitians, because they really require very specialized training, because they're, as you can kind of figure out, not really about food. You're using the locus of control with counting calories to express your desire for control of your body, your life. But psychologically, what I actually learned at a very prominent and amazing eating disorder center during my field work, my dietetic internship, is that it really takes a multidisciplinary approach to cure or even put in remission or cope with an eating disorder. But that aside, we hear a lot about calories in our practice, and that is because from the 1800s, when the calorie was kind of discovered as a unit of food energy and beyond, we've relied on this very old science to guide our weight loss and weight management goals, and unfortunately they're now rather irrelevant in the outpatient world. I'll tell you that inpatient we still rely on them, but inpatient I'm putting a feeding tube through your nose or directly into your gut or in your vein. So yeah, I kind of have to mathematically calculate what's going in there. For a healthy ambulatory breathing, walking person, calories are not as important because it's quality, not quantity. We don't use calorie counting apps. We use apps where you tell me exactly what you're eating and what you're feeling, which is so much more important than the 40 calories you're eating, because what happens is when you count calories, you're doing a fool's errand. You're grasping at straws. First of all, you're making yourself bonkers by giving yourself these hard limits. You're not allowing yourself to eat mindfully or intuitively, which are such important human cognitive gifts that we've been given to be able to do. And you're focusing on the wrong thing, because a calorie of carrots is not equal to a calorie of avocado, to a calorie of cake, to a calorie of a burger. So we try to educate our clients more on what are you eating, not how much of it are you eating. And I should mention that we really don't weigh a lot of people in our office. The scale is actually tucked under my desk, and I've instructed my team, and we talk about this a lot, that we only use it when we feel it's going to benefit the client, not to penalize the client or show them how worthless or how their progress has not been made, because progress is not on the scale. Numbers to us are very insignificant unless you're showing us the numbers from your doctor via a laboratory report. Your calories in and your calories out is old science. We'd rather you focus on portion size, serving size, and what you're eating. Are you eating 100 calories of white rice or brown rice? Well, I don't really care how many calories it is. I care what the serving size is, and that you're eating the complex carbohydrate, and that you feel good and happy about it and about your body. And this is actually why we've now brought on this Mindbody program. It's actually quite new. We haven't really announced it yet, so surprise. Being trained in eating disorders, I felt so strongly that, like I kind of mentioned, psychotherapy is the anchor of nutrition therapy. It's not the dietitian in eating disorders. And then I thought, wait a second, it's actually the anchor of nutrition therapy for everybody, not just people with, a diagnosed eating disorder. How are you supposed to make a huge life change if you're not having mental support there? And we're not psychologists. We're not trained in that. We're not psychotherapists. I don't want to be. I didn't get a PhD in that for a reason. I love food and food science and nutrition, and I can motivate you and I can charm you into eating one way, but that real psychological work, even outside the realm of eating disorders, has to be done with a licensed mental health professional, whether it's a psychologist or an LMHC or an LCSW or an MFT. So what we've done is we brought these amazing practitioners who we know and love, who we were referring to anyway, in-house. And we have a program where you get the opportunity to work with a therapist in addition to working with your dietitian, and it has nothing to do with an eating disorder. It's for everybody. It's for weight gain, weight loss, pregnancy, a disease, wellness. Everybody now in our practice, we're moving towards making that a compulsory thing, that you have to have your psychological springboard. Maybe just one session, maybe 50. That's for them and you to determine. But if your mind and your heart isn't in this change, then you're not in this change. So thank you for bringing that up.
Wow. That's amazing, and thanks for announcing your Mindbody program for us to find out about. So, like everything you said, like I'm really starting to see, like, do you feel that there is a shift? Because growing up in the 90s, we saw the fad of Weight Watchers, and we saw these fads of like diet, good food versus bad food. We saw all these things, and I think there's a lot of other big players in the food industry that help to shape these our views on food. But do you think there's a shift now in 2018 on like the intuitive eating, on a shift in eating for health, not just eating to lose weight or to just count the calories? Like, do you see a shift in the whole like mind, body, spiritual process?
Yes, it's happening slowly. I think what's gonna have to happen is physicians are gonna have to get on board with that attitude and not, hand someone a sheet of paper with calories and sugar grams and such laboratory dry clinical content. And we're gonna have to shift the focus onto our minds, because I always say this: if you're a human, you have one thing over a dog, a mind, a cognitive mind. So that is a great idea, is to shift the locus of health onto mindful and intuitive eating and kind of the psychotherapeutic aspects of food. And that is how it should be ideally. And to answer your question, yes, I see it trending that way. I think as physicians, dietitians, and the influencers, they all need to get on board and be on that, because it's really disgusting to me when I see dietitians or doctors or whomever, taking pictures of calories in, calories out, net carbs, keto. Like, that is malpractice to me. You need to inspire people to eat real food, because this is another thing I always say. Why do we eat? You don't eat to lose weight or to gain weight. You don't eat to look good or look revenge worthy or look skinny. You eat for one reason: to nourish yourself with nutrients and nourish yourself mentally and physically. That is all. Okay, so again, to answer your question, I do tend to ramble. I'm sorry. The trend is getting there. We need to band together as health professionals and shift that focus onto the mind-body eating experience and not the results-driven outer shell nutrition experience.
Right. So, do you think that, actually, I want to ask you, with that being said, what are some things that you see out there, because we live in an age where everyone is an expert on social media about food. So like, what really bothers you?
No. How much time do we have?
Like, what are some things you see, like, that it's false, or it's things that bother you that people shouldn't be doing in terms of food and like spreading that?
So I'm passionate, and it's easy to get my blood to boil. So here's a little glazing the surface of the iceberg of what pisses Monica, the dietitian, and her Essence Nutrition dietitians off. Number one, if you're not a registered dietitian, you should not be dispensing food advice. Now, there are plenty of qualified professionals, psychologists, etc., even physicians, who are, it's not to say you're not intelligent. If you're the RD, the registered dietitian, is the nutrition expert as a result of our unique, extremely immersive nutrition training. I will end that there. Number two, if you are focusing on the body, then you are focusing on the wrong thing. And I mean results oriented. If you're focusing again on, eat like this and your waist will be 24 inches. Again, you're focusing on the wrong thing. That you're focusing on the corporal experience and not the mental experience. When people, again, focus on calories and not content of nutrition, that really irks me. And the most shameful thing is when dietitians who should know better focus on things like that, or they give you these weird pseudoscience claims like, you know what? I'm not even going to say it because you're going to know who did it right away, and I don't want to get sued. So when you are presenting to people, or you're on your social media influence page, which is, your storefront, if you're espousing junk, then you are junk. You are what you say, and you are how you behave. So we try to maintain a evidence-based with a fun, holistic, charming, witty, kind of sassy edge when we purport our nutrition information to people. We try not to take each other down. We want to band together with other dietitians and psychologists and physicians. What else really bothers me in the nutrition world? When people do these crazy diets, the keto diet, or when they latch onto one ingredient, like, collagen, turmeric. You think that, okay, so here you are drinking 14 glasses of wine a week and not exercising and eating really terrible things, but you think turmeric is going to make you live forever? Macros. Look at the macro picture. Don't look at macros. It's another stupid thing. Look at your world as a whole, okay? And try to analyze food as an army, not as individual soldiers, because there's something about food that's the power of synergy, which is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, especially in the realm of food. Do not ignore the mental component that we're trying to cultivate with our mind-body program, and don't try to be okay, here's an idea. What I like to say is, be the CEO of your own body. However, does the CEO of Apple or General Motors or Whole Foods, is he the only person in the company? No. So if you try to take your health into your own hands 100%, you don't know what you're doing. I'm not an accountant. I can kind of figure out my QuickBooks, but I got to hire a CPA to make sure I'm not going to defraud the federal government. So be your own advocate, go to the doctor, get a physical, get a trainer, get a dietitian, take that into your own hands. I empower you to do that. Bravo, mazel tov, that's amazing. However, if you see an ad for collagen online or turmeric or this diet or keto, don't just put yourself on that. You don't know what you're doing. Advise or, kind of liaise with your board of directors. You're the CEO, you need the board of directors, you need your head of accounting, your head of marketing, your head of everything else. Make your health a collaborative approach with people who are actually well-versed legal professionals, dietitians, again, registered dietitians, physicians, psychologists. Everybody needs a license. Everybody needs to have gone to graduate school. Physical therapists, occupational therapists. I'm sorry, Erica, I forgot you were here. Those type of people. And then, assemble your army. Then you can be the CEO of your own health in a functional and smart way.
Amen.
Stop the complaining there.
I know, because it's like you can't go on Instagram without seeing someone that has nothing to, it's just posting her trying to sell a meal plan without any credentials. I see that all the time.
No. And remember this about Instagram. It's fake. It's not your real life.
Yeah.
Based on Instagram, you would think that I have a glamorous, fabulous, full private practice. Okay, fine, maybe I do. But in 5 years, if and when Instagram ceases to exist, remember when Facebook was the thing?
Yeah.
And now it's only, quote, for old people, or Snapchat, and Instagram totally ruined that. You have to have substance to your life and a real job that's providing income for you, not just Instagram. So all of these influencers, even dietitians who have these 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, and they are all day in their cute little outfits, eating lattes and taking pictures of themselves and being very clever and adorable. You go, girl. I hope you're getting paid sponsorships. I hope you get that. That's amazing. You're a registered dietitian. You go on with your bad self. Or when do you have time to see clients and actually run a brand and make a business? And you're saying, well, this is my brand, and that's great, but what happens when Instagram flops and goes over? So Erica has a master's in OT. She's always going to have a job. Maybe she's not posting at the hospital all day, or at her job as an adjunct, or at her job as a traveling OT or whatever, because guess what? She's actually working full-time, hands-on with patients. She doesn't have time to take a selfie. Neither do I. So, remember, Instagram is not a real world. There are some really interesting things you can learn from it. And that's what I try to do, is make my Instagram kind of an extension of a spiritual sense of who I am and who my dietitians are. But that is not real. You need to think about what these people are actually doing in their real life. And Instagram is their best face. Instagram is the best version of yourself. Nobody's crying on Instagram saying how horrible their life is and how stressed they are and how, the angle of their body is really terrible most of the time. Remember that. Take that pearl of wisdom with you, and I think we would do well to maybe not be online so much.
Yeah. Oh my God. The last part, easier said than done.
No, totally. It's addictive. It's addictive.
Because you don't know this about me either, but 2 years ago I was an ambassador for a multi-level marketing company that sold shakes and stuff. And I started to realize, I started to awaken that I'm trying to chase something on Instagram, but then that's where the entrepreneurial bug set in. We're doing our neck exercises at the same time.
I'm being very efficient right now and rectifying my scoliosis, as my physical therapist told me to, with my chin exercises. So that's why Erica's laughing.
I love recording live because we get to
experience these fun things. We digress.
Okay.
So what happened with your MLM?
I was there for this was, oh my God, what year is it? 2018. So 2 years ago. I was in it alongside being an OT, and I never saw it as I'm going to quit my job and be this Instagram star. I never saw it like that, but I liked it. But then I realized, wait, this is so, what's the word? Not sturdy. The opposite is this is so fragile. This could fall apart, and it's so fleeting. And I realized, wait, I'm a smart girl. I'm a smart cookie. Like, I'm not going to do this. Like, I liked the product, and that's why I did it. But then I realized, okay, I need to, that's where Joy Energy Time kind of came about, where it's like, I can, like, that opened my world to be an entrepreneur, to see that there is possibilities online. And then now, like, a million thoughts, a million journal and planner notes later, and lots of planning, I've realized that I'm an entrepreneur and I can do things online and offline. But Instagram isn't the only thing. Like, I see so many people try, and like I said, like, you go, girl, like, you make that money while you can. But I see it now as, like, I want a longevity in my career. I don't want my career just be based on Instagram, because you want to make an impact, and you can do that in a million other ways that are going to last much longer.
Right. I think people are focusing too much on brand for health information and nutrition. It's all about Instagram, and that's great. I hope that the information you're getting is from a reliable, accredited source, as mentioned. But, you know, I do 8,000 things in a day, really, for Essence Nutrition. Essence Nutrition is 24/7. I'm either seeing clients, I'm managing my practice, I'm with the Marlins, I'm at my sites, I'm doing branding and consulting, I'm developing products. But you don't see that on Instagram. And if Instagram dies, I won't care, because I'll still have my job, you know, and I'll still be changing lives, even though you're not seeing it every 3 seconds on my story. So careful, you know, influencers, you know, make sure you have a backup plan, because your world, like you said, is fragile.
Yeah.
But my master's degree is not. We're going to have our master's degrees forever, as long as we keep up our CEUs.
Yeah. Which I'm making a CEU. So I love how we kind of got off on this topic, because this is what's going on today in 2018. Or my husband would say 2018, but I say 2018.
Language barrier.
So Monica, in terms of, like, trends that you talked about, calories, you talked about ketogenic, is that what it was? What are some things that, well, okay, we're recording outside.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I think my husband.
It's the wild, wild west.
The wild west of Miami. So you talked about ketogenic for a second, but, like, what is something that people should know about that? Like, what's BS? Like, is that BS? Like,
So, loaded question. Again, when you focus...
Okay, you're good. Sorry.
When you focus too micro on things, careful. You know, things like the ketogenic diet or the paleo diet or anything that ends in diet is probably not the best idea. Some things are... let's start here. How do I determine if something is BS? Science. What is my master's in? What is your master's in? Science. It's not philosophy. So I don't feel any way about the ketogenic diet. I don't feel a certain way about Splenda. Let me look at the research. Let me ask my physician friends, my endocrinology friends. Let me ask my other dietitians. Let me make a clinical judgment and give you that answer. 90% of the time or more, I haven't run the stats, obviously. That was just a BS number. If you're coming to me and asking, what do you think about this product or this diet? I'm like, nah, bro. Like, that is not evidence-based literature, and that makes no clinical sense to me. And I've asked this doctor and I've asked this endocrinologist, and what you're saying makes no sense. Why can't we just eat like human beings and use our common sense and not be so micro or so structured? Let's loosen the reins on nutrition a little bit and not subscribe to one religious way of eating, because food should not be religion or moral or applied emotionally in any way as far as a regimen is concerned. So I'll just be broad and answer that in that way. And if you want to ask me about the ketogenic diet, I'd say it's clinically supported for pediatric intractable seizures, but if you're a regular person eating butter on lettuce, I think we need to reevaluate your life. That's gross.
Yeah, I know nothing about it. I don't even know.
Keep it that way.
Yeah. But I hear these things like paleo, and I feel like I see waves of things coming, and I see the books collecting on my mom's shelves of the latest things. And that always taught me, like, I've been really good for the past, like, my eating disorder was over 10 years ago, so it has no effect on me now. But I feel like, I want to ask you this. Do you feel like we all have a set equilibrium? Because I feel like I have intuitive eating. I feel like I do. So I feel like my weight it's something I don't even measure, but I stay in the same range for like the past, I don't know how many years, because I feel like this is my natural set point. Like, do you have anything to say?
So that's actually a theory. So it's not been proven of that set point weight equilibrium theory. And I like to think that it's, you know, a very good theory, okay? Because, you know, it's kind of like the thermostat. Like if the air is set at 75, it doesn't matter what the temperature is outside, your air conditioning is going to work super hard to make that temp inside 75 degrees if that's what you set it on. So if you are mindfully eating, intuitively eating, and eating according to what your registered dietitian has told you, you should be experiencing the optimal conditions for your own body. Now, things happen like stress, like pregnancy, like illness, and those will mess with potentially your set point in various ways. So, yeah, if you feel like, I eat when I'm hungry, I stop when I'm full, I eat a lot of vegetables and fruits, I don't necessarily avoid anything or focus too much on anything, you're probably doing the right job. And it would take, you know, a consult with a dietitian to really determine if indeed that is true. But to answer your question, that equilibrium theory is very healthy. It's very healthy, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's something, like I always work towards my health, but I never feel like I'm depriving myself. And I think that's important. That's what started the eating disorder. But now, if I indulge, first of all, I don't restrict, and I know that when I indulge, I don't feel like I need to do it all the time, and I feel like I'm set. And okay, I do have a little bit of chocolate every day, but when I talk about indulging, I talk about like going to Menchie's or whatever.
Or like eating a pie or something, which is cool because, like, again, if you're a human, you have the choice to make those choices, which is like really cool. And part of intuitive eating and mindful eating is being able to indulge mindfully and being like, that was awesome. I loved my almond croissant. That's my favorite food, by the way, if anyone wants to send me any. Cool. I'll have one in another couple months when it crosses my mind. Not like, oh my God, I have the croissant, I'm such a bad person, I need to go work out, or how could I do that to myself? My blood sugar is rising and it will never correct, or okay, I can only have one every 3.7 days, or I'm going to avoid them entirely forever. These are where you run into problems. But if you approach food with an attitude of all food is great, I love food, you know, I get to eat whatever I want, but I probably, for my health of my body, should eat this way most of the time, then that's the optimal, beautiful nirvana of essence nutrition and feeding your essence.
Amen, sister. So I had this, like, it's not a full rapid fire, it's like 2 or 3 questions of rapid fire.
Let's do it.
Okay. Chocolate or wine?
Oh. I mean, apples and oranges, like literally. So yes, there are some cardioprotective benefits of red wine. Chocolate doesn't have alcohol, which is a liver toxin, so I'm leaning more towards the chocolate. What about like half and half? Can I say half and half?
Yeah.
Okay, half and half. Or maybe together.
Together, ideally.
Depends on, I know your medical background, which I won't share, but I would say, like, basically do what feels right intuitively, because those are both 2 things that can be eaten mindfully and in moderation, like we've discussed outside of this interview. And make sure your chocolate is 80% in organic and fair trade.
Yes, I just
80% cacao.
I bought 80 or 85%.
Go girl. Yeah, that's awesome.
Cacao.
Yeah. We love, by the way, we don't work for these people. This is just like free advertising. Who Kitchen in New York is this restaurant that has the best chocolate bars, and now they're starting to carry them at online and on Amazon and at Whole Foods in Miami. So get on it. Next question, rapid fire.
Rapid fire, waffles or pancakes?
Oh, okay. So the batter for both is the same. Now, do you want the Essence approved waffles or pancakes? Do you want, like, are you asking me like just IHOP? You know, like
I'm talking about IHOP. Like,
okay.
Let's just
doesn't matter. The batter's the same. Toppings are going to be a question. Yeah, it's intuitively what you would like. Now, when we make our own, like, and you'll find if you subscribe to the Essence Cocoon meal prep plan, when the waffles and pancakes are in there, you'll find they're usually made with almond flour, because you're actually getting nutrition out of almond flour as opposed to white flour, which is just pure inflammatory starch. and we're using kind of like some fun nutrient-dense foods in there. But yeah, for me, it's usually waffles because I have a nice waffle iron, and it's easier for me than pancakes, which there's just so much variability of Monica's definitely going to burn the stupid pancakes. So the waffle iron with a little timer is a lot better for me.
Yeah.
Nutritionally, there's not really a difference.
I love how you turn every rapid fire into like a mini science lesson.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, one more, and then I'll ask my last two questions. Oh my God, I forgot. Well, okay, brown rice or quinoa?
Okay, this I actually have an opinion. So, a serving size is half cup, which doesn't mean that you or usually eat a half cup. That's just what the government says. But individually, we can talk about that. Quinoa is way more nutrient dense than brown rice. Brown rice has like a little bit of fiber and some B vitamins, a lot of starch, whatever. Quinoa has protein, a lot more nutrients like vitamins and minerals, and is a lot more filling. So you're going to eat less of it. It's self-limiting. Technically, it's also a seed, which is interesting, and both of them are gluten-free, which is cool if that's your jam. So I think quinoa wins here.
Yes.
But if you don't rinse it before you eat it, it has these saponins on it, and it'll taste really bitter and not good, and you won't digest it well. So you have to rinse your quinoa before eating it.
Oh.
Lazy Monica doesn't do that, so she doesn't eat quinoa.
Yeah. I love quinoa.
Hey.
And it's been like a running joke with all my friends for years that all I eat is quinoa, and that's true. But I eat quinoa bowls.
Okay.
So I like this week I made spicy cauliflower quinoa bowls.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, so I'm very into like the bowls because you get everything. It's like a win-win. You get your carbs, your protein, your healthy fats, because avocados are in every bowl, of course.
Of course.
So I want to end with these two questions. What is your personal definition of health and wellness?
Okay, so the Essence Nutrition philosophy would say that health is a multidisciplinary approach. It's an iceberg. It's not like a linear graph. I would say if you're physical with your doctor, your blood levels for your basic metabolic panel, your hepatic panel, blood sugar, inflammation, vitamins, etc., you want that taken care of. So if that's super chill, then you want to look at physical. Are you moving enough? Mm-hmm. And in that realm, which I'm moving enough, but I have terrible body mechanics, which is why I'm in physical therapy. Are you prone to injury? Do you have injuries? What's going on with your body? And that locus of control. What are you doing with stress, mindfulness, meditation, and sleep? Mm-hmm. Nutrition-wise, which you probably were like, when is she going to get to the nutrition part? Yeah. Are you eating mindfully and intuitively and within the realm of what your registered dietitian should tell you, which is like more of an anti-inflammatory eating, but not super strict in anything because, again, almond croissants. And are you enjoying your food and your life?
Right.
To me, that is what depicts ultimate health.
Yeah. Amen.
Oh, and dogs. You should have a dog.
A dog. Or a cat.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Cat.
I love that. Ultimate health is...
ultimate health. Dogs. Must love dogs.
Must love... what kind of dog do you have?
At Essence Nutrition, there's often a geriatric Cavalier King Charles Spaniel named Madeline. And she is a therapy dog, and she is the best.
She's a therapy dog?
Yeah, she volunteers at the library and reads to little kids.
Oh my God.
She used to go to hospitals and nursing homes, but Monica got a job, so Monica doesn't have time for that anymore, but she's the best. And yeah, she's an emotional support. She's brought me more joy than I could have ever imagined. Oh yeah, my husband too. Hey Joey, shout out to Joey.
Shout out to our husband.
Shout out to the hubs.
Okay, last question. What makes you your most lit up self?
Like, when am I the most excited?
Yeah, like the most passionate, like your most aligned. Like, what makes you your most
like
lit up?
Nutritionally or just like outside the realm of nutrition?
Outside of nutrition. What makes Monica her most lit up self?
I am super happy when I feel like I have my job in control, which is, a very like neurotic answer.
I got
that's, type A people are the ones who generally become entrepreneurs and then leaders, etc. But they experience anxiety with that, which I do struggle with. So I'm most in control when I feel like I have my business on wraps. I'm with my family, I'm with my friends, I'm with my husband, I'm with my dog, I'm in the sun with SPF. Or I don't like being cold. I like being warm.
Me too.
And I love shopping, and I love eating, and I love just
Living the good life.
Living the good life and being gracious and grateful about what has happened to me and what I've done for myself.
Oh, beautiful, Monica. So where can people find you?
Everywhere. So the website is essencenutritionmiami.com. That's where you'll find all the cool downloadable digital content. To email us to set up with your butterfly dietitian, that would be hello@essencenutritionmiami.com. We have the Instagram, as I mentioned, but remember, that's just a little snippet of what we do. That is @EatLikeMonica. And you can probably find us on TV sometimes, or radio.
Yeah.
Print.
Monica's always on TV.
Go to the press page. You'll find the most recent buzz. You can enroll in our newsletter on our website as well. And we'll see you either in the office or the cybersphere.
Cool. Thank you so much, Monica, for taking the time to be on this interview.
Thank you, Erica. Super fun.
Yay. Thanks for listening. If you want more, be sure to subscribe to this podcast. Also, share this episode with your friends, and I would be so grateful. If you feel inspired, leave a review on iTunes with an honest comment and/or what you'd like to hear more of, so you can help me out on my journey in delivering meaningful content. Thanks, mis amores.